even at the end, Kayla Clark got hacked. In the last 2.9 seconds of the game, Kayla Clark was hacked. No call. Should have been 3 free throws. 3 of them, bro. She should have had 3 of them. This is freaking ridiculous, bro. I mean, ridiculous. We need to write the WNBA right now because these referees have.
The WNBA just aired its own unscripted drama. Only this time, the storyline was directed by clueless refs and biased whistles. Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever didn't simply fall to the Liberty. They were flat out cheated. Forget strategy or execution. This game was hijacked by officiating, and the bias was impossible to ignore. One ridiculous call flipped the entire energy, leaving fans questioning whether they were watching hoops.
But it was one of the worst refereed games. It was one of the worst refereed games I've seen. But in a long time.
The WNBA refs aren't just making calls. They're staging a tragic Broadway play. And Caitlin Clark has been cast as the lead in a scripted downfall. In a league where whistles are supposed to signal fairness, this crew delivered a performance so...
I think some of the calls, and I hate to dwell on the referees. You guys know I don't like to do it because I really don't like to pay attention to the sports police, but I feel like they are part of the story here. At the end, the last play, Caitlin Clark has a chance to attack going left with Natasha Cloud. She sticks the hand in, kind of looks like a clean steal, can't really tell. You can call that as a reach. Refs choose not to. Stephanie White chooses.
Indiana Fever versus New York Liberty. Everyone had this matchup marked, not just for the rivalry, but because Caitlin Clark has turned the Fever into primetime entertainment. She's almost single-handedly dragging the franchise from obscurity with her willpower and deep threes. But while Indiana came to compete, the refs came to play favorites. With missed calls and phantom fouls, this didn't feel like basketball. It felt like scripted theater, Liberty Edition. At this rate, Simon didn't just say,
We don't just say, oh, the refs, no. We put names on it. We put names on it. When the referees aren't good, we put names on it. Angelica, Ryan, Aegon, Abazi, folks, I'm watching that game. I noticed Aegon's bald head from anywhere. I can be over here in New Jersey, look out my window and be like, oh, that's Aegon over there. What's he doing down the street? He doesn't live anywhere over here. I can recognize that bald head. I can pick that bald head out of a lineup. Don't show me his face, just show me the shine. Show me the glisten on the top of his head, and I can say, yeah, that's Aegon. These 3 referees were atrocious today. But I do want to say, Ryan Sassano, I did a lot of calling out referees last year. Ryan, I'm not too familiar with you, Ryan. But now you are on.
Make no mistake, the Liberty are elite, stacked with talent, great chemistry, and deeper than a classic novel. They're real title contenders. But when referees start dishing out fouls like Oprah, handing out prizes, you get one. You get one. It stirs up suspicions of bias. It's like someone poured New York favoritism straight into their Gatorade. By the third quarter, it stopped resembling basketball and became a farce titled Foul on Caitlin. The musical, with tone-deaf refs as stars and Clark as their scapegoat.
Caitlin, can you give us your perspective on the last play?
I haven't watched it yet, but, use our reset timeout, ran it a little bit different, similar play to what we ran the other night when we played Atlanta here. I don't know, I have to go back and watch. I don't know.
And then when you look at just your, struggle shooting the ball throughout the game,
yeah.
What'd you like about the shots that you ended up making and also just overall kind of working your way through it?
Yeah, a tough shooting night happens. I think just continuing to play. I thought I played.
And then came the moment no one can stop talking about, the call. That infamous confusing, logic-defying, physics-denying whistle that screamed, "We're done pretending." Caitlin Clark was in full command, guiding the court like a field general, slicing through defenders with Red Bull-fueled precision, and carrying Indiana like a firefighter in a 4-alarm emergency. With the game on the line and tension thick, she attacked the lane, eyes locked on the rim. It wasn't just a drive, it was a movie scene. The crowd held its breath. This was her moment. And then, bam, the call. A foul so outrageous.
Shout out to Stephanie White, the Fever coach, stood up for her team. She demanded respect and she blasted.
Stephanie, what did you see on the last play from Caitlin? And then on top of that, what did you think of your team's late game execution?
I thought she got fouled. I think it's pretty egregious what's been happening to us the last few games. A minus 31 free throw discrepancy. And I might be able to understand it if we were just chucking threes, but we're not. We're attacking the rim. And the disrespect right now for our team has been pretty unbelievable. So it's disappointing, that it doesn't go both ways, or it hasn't gone both ways. But we also can't allow.
Her arm was slapped, her momentum halted, and her fall looked more like a crime scene than a basketball move. It was such a clear foul, even street ball. Veterans would cringe and say, "That was dirty." But the refs? They might as well have stepped into a parallel universe where unicorns ref games and eyesight is optional. Suddenly, they developed a case of selective blindness so severe it bordered on medical negligence. It was justice blacked out, like someone unplugged their moral compass mid-play. The crowd froze, mouths open, hands on heads, as if a UFO had landed at center court. Phones went up to replay it, hoping maybe they missed something, but they hadn't. The evidence was obvious, yet somehow invisible to the 3 blind mice with whistles. The whole arena was left questioning how fairness could be so.
Clark has to get open. 1 second left. Clark doesn't get the shot off.
That was a foul, guys. And I wish we had another angle. Oh my God, I wish we had another angle. So, guys, I'm literally surfing the web right now. I'm literally surfing the web right now to try to get us some footage, man. Because this right here is ridiculous. Natasha Cloud straight up foul.
Even the announcers glitched. For a solid 2.5 seconds, an eternity in live coverage. Silence. Then one finally muttered, "Well, I think we're all a bit shocked." The understatement of the night. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark lay sprawled across the floor like a fallen warrior, stunned. Her expression was a mix of disbelief, anger, and a clear, "You've got to be kidding me." In a game where every second counted, the officials didn't just miss a call. They tossed the entire rulebook aside. No whistle, no justice, just a turnover and a momentum swing so bold it felt scripted. The chance vanished, the play erased, and the fans erupted in outrage. Tweets flew. Hashtags were born midair. Caitlin's face said it all. Furrowed brow, clenched jaw, the face of someone robbed on live TV. Not just of points or a win, but of something deeper. The belief that hard work would be respected. That fairness still mattered. But in that moment, the WNBA sent a cold message. Do everything right.
On that last play, no doubt about it. In my opinion, it looked like Natasha Cloud probably fouled her. It was not called. The referees love to swallow their whistles at that time, that part of the game. But then again, they did not swallow their whistles with the foul call on Lexi Hall against.
She didn't complain. She didn't lash out or lose her cool. Instead, she stood up, brushed off the sweat and frustration, and prepared to keep fighting. Still, the pain lingered. Everyone noticed it. Everyone felt it. That heavy realization that the court isn't as fair as they claimed. This wasn't just about one missed whistle. It was about what it symbolized. That even with all her triple-doubles, game-changing leadership, and history-making performances, Caitlin Clark could be dismissed in a heartbeat by apathetic officials. A call like that doesn't just swing the scoreboard. It echoes far beyond the court, into locker rooms, pressers, podcasts, TikToks, and even heated debates in living rooms. It clings to the narrative like gum stuck to a shoe. Frustrating, unshakable, and impossible to ignore. It's a clear reminder that to those in charge, effort and excellence can still be erased by a split second of neglect.
4 games for Stephanie White to say, I've had enough. It's taken 4 games for Stephanie White to say, you know what? I've had absolute enough. Game 1, okay. Game 2, okay. Game 3, all right. But today was the last straw when it came for Stephanie White. The New York Liberty get to the free throw.
Let's be real. If someone else had been wearing that jersey, would the whistle have remained silent? If it were a veteran, a league favorite with all-star accolades, would that foul have been ignored? If her name weren't Clark, would the refs have made the call? That's the uncomfortable truth nobody wants to say aloud, but everyone suspects. Moments like these shatter the illusion of equal footing in pro sports. Suddenly, the myth that hustle and skill alone earn respect becomes laughable. One no call ripped the mask off the game's fairness. And it didn't feel like a simple mistake. It felt like betrayal. Betrayal of effort. Betrayal of heart. Caitlin Clark gave that game her all. Grit, passion, elite talent, and in return, she wasn't even given the basic respect of a whistle. Just cold silence. No call, no justice. Just an aching void where fairness should have stood. Because in a sport where sound dictates action, the silence from those referees screamed louder than any arena. It sent a clear message. You don't matter enough. And that echo.
So yeah, I was like super frustrated watching this game. It was not called the same for both teams. And you know, I haven't been one to call out the refs a lot I hadn't been one to call out the refs a lot last season, but this season it's so apparent that how lopsided the officiating is. But you know what? I still feel better about this game than I felt.
Now let's talk about the single most frustrating, unbelievable, absolutely infuriating moment of the entire night. The imaginary foul called on Lexi Hull that practically handed the Liberty the win. That one call flipped everything. With the game hanging in the balance and pressure sky high, the officials tossed logic out and gifted New York a 2-point edge like it was a holiday giveaway. Not because of a real infraction, effort, or even contact, but because they apparently saw something invisible to everyone else. What foul? Lexi Hull played textbook defense. No shove, no arm contact, no body bump. Clean as it gets. She did everything right. Controlled, alert, legal. Yet somehow, the refs invented a foul out of thin air. It was like they thought they were actors in a soap opera instead of officials at a basketball game. Replay after replay confirmed the same thing. No foul, no contact, no justification. Just a free trip to the line that flipped the outcome of a hard-fought game.
Things went downhill. So this is them calling a foul on Lexi Hall, right? This foul is determining. This foul right here was the reason they won the game. This foul right here, guys. The game was tight.
I mean, she turns the corner and gets downhill. I don't know, Lexi Hall vertical. Maybe that's offense-initiated contact, and maybe Stephanie White's going to take a look at it.
Chance to give the Liberty the lead.
I mean, she turns the corner and gets downhill.
Guys, even the commentator said maybe that's offensive Guys, I'm just...
The timing of that absurd call couldn't have been worse. It gave the Liberty just enough of a cushion to edge out a win they didn't truly earn. And yes, it felt completely fake, because that's exactly what it was. This wasn't just about Lexi Hull. It was a slap in the face to the entire Indiana Fever team, and especially to Caitlin Clark, who's already weathered more than her fair share of shady calls this season. It's starting to feel personal, like there's a quiet agenda against the Fever, and Clark in particular. She's the most watched rookie in the league, dominating the headlines, and it's clear not everyone's thrilled about it. The way the refs handled this game made it obvious. When opponents can't slow her down, it seems the officials try to do it for them. Fans saw it. Replays proved it. Even broadcasters paused, hesitant to call it for what it was. But the scoreboard told the story. And in the end, the Liberty left with a win drenched in controversy. If this is fairness, someone needs to rewrite the rule book, because this one's written in disappearing ink.
Not the challenge. You think about the foul on the previous play with Sabrina and how she went at Lexi Hull. They call it that time. Bonner gets whacked on the other end. They don't do anything. I don't know, man. I don't know how to feel about this. I feel like it was kind of stolen from the Fever.
Of course, the refs, always ready to stir the pot under the guise of professionalism, saw one overly dramatic flop and decided, yep, that's definitely a foul on the rookie who's revitalizing the entire league. Caitlin Clark had to be punished, apparently, for excelling too much, for being better than expected, for outshining the veterans. So they blew the whistle on her. Just existing near a defender must be illegal now. Clark went to the bench, and Indiana's rhythm collapsed, all while the officials likely congratulated themselves on their balanced officiating. Because that's the new trend. Penalize her for daring to dominate, for looking too confident, or for breathing too close to an ego. And when she actually takes contact, gets slammed, shoved, or clipped, they conveniently miss it, like physics just paused for a moment. It's not officiating anymore, it's theater, and Caitlin's the unwilling lead. Somewhere, a referee is scribbling a new rulebook in crayon. Thou shalt not shine brighter than the status quo. So where do we go from here? Will the league act like it didn't happen, burying this in the pile of oops moments and hoping the outrage fades by next week?
Non-foul that happened, or the non-call, and one of the things that happened during this whole game is the referees for again, what, the second game in a row, I guess? Definitely for the second game of the season, the referees swallowed their freaking whistles when it came to the Indiana Fever, and Stephanie White has lost her mind over it, and I don't blame her. I mean, at least she's standing up for the team, making it a public issue, so now the WNBA is at least on notice that everybody knows it now, that this team is not getting any.
Or will they finally step up and acknowledge the obvious bias? Fans saw it. Players felt it. Caitlin Clark lived it, and she won't forget. Moments like this don't vanish. They become fuel. They drive reform and inspire players to rise above the noise. Caitlin doesn't need the refs' approval. She'll respond the best way she knows how, by dominating. She'll torch the court next game and remind everyone why she's the most talked about name in basketball. Because real greatness can't be muted by injustice or sidelined by bias. If this moment fired you up, hit like and subscribe. More videos are waiting on the screen.